So we have some pretty interesting news that just broke. First of all, I'm completely under the weather while I'm making this, so bear with my voice and everything. But I thought it was a really interesting thing to talk about, so I figured, hey, let's do a video on it. So Imac basically went out and he had an article there that he posted on sportsnet.ca. He had a chit chat with Patrik Allvin, and he mentioned a lot of interesting things, especially with Filipino unfortunately getting injured. And with Filipino, unfortunately, in his past, he has a lot of concussion history, and hopefully he's going to be okay, not just, for the Canucks, but also for his family, his health. This leaves another big hole, and with Bleuger potentially being out for at least a week, and we've already had problems with our depth. It's not good. So let's talk about what Allvin said and some options here. So first of all, the first job is to find a way to get through the next game. He said, depth-wise, I think we're good at the bottom of the lineup. It's more how you get the skill guy for the top six that is a challenge. I think there's always been an urgency to add that player, and there's been something we looked into all summer. I would say probably makes me look at other things I might not have looked at before. Just take a different view. My job is to look at that option, short term and long term, and what makes sense for us. So what's interesting about that is he's talking about trying to go look at different options, different view set of what before. So what he was basically saying before is he's looking for that top six center, even a third line center. Maybe now he's looking into other third line center options, maybe even a fourth line center. Who knows? But thus, there are some interesting names out there. For example, Casey Mittelstadt, right? Casey Mittelstadt has struggled a little bit in Boston in the 6 games. He only has 2 points. He was a healthy scratch. Another name would be someone like Pavel Zacha, but Zacha's having a pretty good start to the season, so I don't see Boston going out and doing anything like that, because that is a guy I've been asking about a little bit who can fill in, and he seems to be doing a pretty good job. The next guy we're looking at is someone who has a much higher ceiling than someone like Cole Sillinger, for example, and that is Kent Johnson. He's having a really poor start to the season. A lot of it's opportunity. I don't think he's getting the minutes personally that he should be getting. He's a really talented player. Not the strongest guy, pretty soft guy, but he can play center. He can play the wing. He's 6 foot, 170 pounds. This guy would be a really interesting guy to look for a target now. Would Columbus go out and trade him? I don't think so, but because he's only 23 years old. But there's a name definitely to look at. Another name I was thinking about is Shane Pinto, but he's ripping it up in Ottawa, so that's not going to happen. Cole Sillinger was someone that a lot of people really liked as well. 6 foot, 202 pounds. He also has the 1 point in 5 games. It could be a little bit of a cheaper option just to look at someone else. And if you want to think pipe dreams, and I'm talking about massive pipe dreams, but it's not going to happen, Tage Thompson. Now, Tage Thompson, of course, is still, he has the 4 points there in 5 games. Big, 6'6", 220. The guy's really good, strong, solid guy. 27 years old, fits that age bracket. Would cost a fortune. The only way Buffalo would do this is if Tage literally asks so, and also they just are absolutely miserable this year. Now, what would it cost to get a guy like Tage? It'd probably cost you PD or something absolutely significant, right? And those are some names that are, just kind of interesting with me. And with Allvin going out here and saying that, again, there's been something we looked at all summer, I would say probably makes me look at other things I might not have looked before. Is he talking more about, let me ask you guys in the comments here, is he saying he's looking for more 3C, 4C, or does he mean he's going to potentially overpay on guys he didn't want to before, and now he's seriously thinking about doing that? Very interesting, and I'd love to get your guys' opinion. So I apologize for my voice. Don't feel well, but I thought it was a good discussion to chit-chat about. And let's go into this and see what you guys think. Cheers.